Are you eating candy while we're trying to do a
It
video?
was the worst part, and it was sweet tart, so my mouth was like,
So if I introduce you right now, you're going to be like, my name is Melvin.
oh, there you go.
The Paul Lytle Insurance Agency is proud to present another episode of Is That Covered? The show that looks at outrageous situations and tries to determine what an insurance adjuster would do if deciding coverage.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to Is That Covered? Paul Lytle.
Melvin Hardison.
We are insurance agents in Texas. We both also come from claims, and so we do these videos to try to give a little bit of an insight into the world of liability and claims processing and how insurance works. And Melvin, this is a really kind of rare occurrence.
Yeah.
First of all, this is a rare occurrence that I went to the movie theater on an opening weekend to see a movie. But it's doubly rare because what did you do that weekend?
I went to see the same movie, and it's just as rare.
Right. So I don't know about you, but there are very few movies that my wife and I get to go see in the theater. But a lot of them have some sort of superhero in them or have something in the title along the lines of Star Wars or Star Trek.
Yes.
And so for the first time, we are not doing Is That Covered on like an older film that we just grew up on.
Yes, it is true.
So what do we do? What are we talking about?
We are talking about Strange and his driving habits.
Yeah. And so like the beginning of the movie, right? Like as insurance professionals, we don't care at all about what happens at the end. We are talking, about the first,
Yes.
Easily in the first 30 minutes of the movie, if not the first 20 minutes of the movie. And so if you haven't seen the movie, we are going to spoil the first 20 minutes, and that's pretty much it.
Yep, he would have had a little driving session that would make James Bond proud.
Exactly, yeah.
In the latest Marvel mega hit Doctor Strange, we find Stephen Strange, a successful and self-absorbed surgeon, out for a lovely evening drive in the mountains. Well, perhaps the thrill of a normal drive isn't enough because he's going much too fast while on the phone, while accepting photos and files on said phone, while whipping around another vehicle on the edge of a cliff. And did I mention it was a no-pass zone? Well, the end result shouldn't surprise us too much. A little clip on the other vehicle causes Strange to lose control of his own car and send it flying over the edge. He survived with many injuries, but we suspect that the vehicle did not. But even if it did, it wouldn't be the strangest thing in the film. You get it? The strangest thing?
First question is first. Who's at fault here?
Well, Doctor Strange is at fault because it looked like a road he was traveling a lot because he wasn't too scared with the way it wound and being on the edge of a cliff. So he was driving extremely fast on the phone, not paying attention, and illegally passing other vehicles.
Yeah, and not simply on the phone. He was actually looking at the phone, at what was being sent to him over the phone while doing it. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but, there's, and the studies have borne this out, that there's a huge difference between talking on the phone, which can be very, very distracting, and we certainly don't encourage that as insurance people, but looking at your phone is just deadly.
Yes.
And that was certainly the case here. So so we got him on the phone. We got him looking at his phone. We got him making illegal passes. We got him speeding. We got him hitting the other car. Seems pretty clear cut in this case.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Anybody who was witness to that accident would probably be pretty mad at him for the way he was driving.
Right. So we don't actually see the damage to the other vehicle, and so it may have been pretty minor. It may have been pretty major. We don't know what happens to it. Strange's car is obviously very damaged, but mostly because it went over the cliff.
Right.
So the other car might be minor, might be major. There might be the driver might be injured, but long story short, is all this going to be taken care of by Strange's insurance?
Yes, Strange's insurance is going to be, it gets found to be at fault in the accident, and they will be covering not only his damages, but the other person's damages that was driving properly and was hit by Doctor Strange.
Okay, good.
And with Doctor Strange's accident and his insurance being at fault, what actually is, what are they going to pay for as far as his injuries? Because he was damaged quite a bit. It looked like his car.
Yeah, absolutely. And the car itself almost certainly has collision coverage on it. And this is why we buy comprehensive or other than collision and collision coverage to fix the car itself. And he'll have a deductible on that. But the injuries to himself, now this is the part that a lot of people don't understand, because they look at their declarations page and they see bodily injury. And they go, wow, my bodily was injured, and so that should apply to me. But as we were actually just talking about, bodily injury is actually applying to the other person.
Correct.
But I know that you've gotten the call, and I've certainly gotten the call. In Texas, our minimum coverage for bodily injury is $30,000 per person, up to $60,000 per accident. And so they're calling us going, well, the accident was my fault, but I'm injured, so I get up to $30,000, right? Or is it the $60,000? And we're like, no, that's actually for the other person. But most states, and we're gonna deal with mostly Texas here, because we live and work in Texas, and this is where we're licensed. But most states do have what's it's going to fall under one or two names: either medical payments coverage, shortened to MedPay, or personal injury protection, which we call PIP. Now, this is coverage that is specifically for you and passengers in your car. Now, in this case, we only have Strange. And so it's going to apply to him. But it is a very limited coverage. And, there are various different levels of what you can get in Texas. But it starts out as low as $2,000 or $2,500 for PIP. And this coverage is not meant at all to cover all your bills in a serious accident, like a liability coverage would. This coverage is really specifically designed to kind of get you back on your feet with the help of your own health insurance. It's meant to cover copays. It's meant to cover basic treatment, but it's not going to help at all. Very much, at least, with Strange's injuries. So you've seen a few of these. In the case of Strange, how quickly do you think that? Well, let's just say he had a Texas policy with $2,500. How quickly is that going to be exhausted?
Well, I think it'll be exhausted once the phone call is made for
Right.
the helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. The Lifeline and a lot of health plans. We saw a lot of Lifeline bills in that department, and the reason for it is that a lot of health insurance didn't cover it or didn't cover it very well.
Right.
And so a lot of people like to reserve their PIP or MedPay benefits for that. And it wouldn't normally cover the whole amount. Those bills can be quite expensive, but it does help a lot when your health insurance isn't going to cover a lot of it. But that's going to depend on your health plan. It's also going to depend on your car insurance. It's one of those things that if you don't know what you have, you should definitely touch base with your agent. If you live in Texas and want us to take a look at it, we'd be more than happy to. You've talked to a lot of people about PIP and MedPay. What percentage of them do you think had any idea what this coverage was?
Probably about 2%.
Yeah, it's
Not many at all.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like it might be the least understood coverage on your car insurance policy. It's it's normally one of those things that the agent either put it there or didn't, and then you get into an accident, and you get on the phone and you're like, "What in the world is this?" That's normally how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it does come in handy. It's not like a death plan that only, well, if I die, then I'll use it. It usually pops up when you get into an accident and you take an ambulance, or you even just go to get checked out at an urgent care. And then those bills come in, and then you're surprised at how high your deductible is on your health insurance. And then PIP and MedPay do come in handy there.
Right. Yeah. And this is part of something that's really going to vary from state to state and by policy to policy. And so this is going to be one thing that I'm going to say for sure. Talk to your agent about what is covered, because some of these plans, especially the personal injury protection plans, might also cover some wage loss.
Correct.
But not all of them do. And so if this is also the part of your policy that varies the most state to state.
Right.
Rental coverage normally stays pretty consistent. You know what you're getting there. Liability, you know what you're getting there. But state to state, MedPay and PIP can change very dramatically. And to make it more complicated, some states have MedPay and some states have PIP, and in Texas we have both. And they cover different. I mean, they basically cover different things. The main difference, this is not the only difference, but the main difference in Texas is PIP does cover wage loss and MedPay does not. But please do, if you're looking at your declarations page and you don't know what this is, please talk to your agent, and they'll help you out. They'll walk you through it. Okay, so I said I was going to get back to this texting. Are you texting right now?
No, but I was looking at my phone.
I've been part of some meetings lately where we've been talking about the sharp increase in the number of accidents that has happened in the last couple of years, and I'll be very straight. We've had several years of a decline in that number until the last couple of years, I think starting in 2015, and it's just skyrocketed. And there's a lot of factors that go into it, but the people I've talked to, the number one thing they've said is texting, and there's a reason for that, and the reason is, you can talk on your phone and you can still keep your eyes on the road, and you're distracted, and it is more dangerous, but you can see the car coming. You can be eating a burger and you can be distracted, and it can be dangerous, and you're one-handed it with the burger, you're trying to dip some fries, and you're at least seeing things. But with the text, your eyes are completely off the road, and you think that you're the world's best driver, and you got it all under control, and you know what everything is around you. But things change so rapidly on the road. And so I kind of wanted to get your perspective on this, because you've talked to a lot of people in a lot of accidents. Is that something you saw a lot, that either I was texting or the other person was texting?
Yeah, I did hear a lot of texting stories. Mainly, they were saying the other person was texting. I had some people with little minor fender benders, and they said, "Yeah, I was texting," and they try to pin it on the other person. Well, he should have been looking out or something like that. But especially in the case of Dr. Strange, that the amount of distance that you cover in 3 seconds or 2 seconds from looking down at your phone, that's a lot of things that can pop up or change from being free to having something in the road that's going to cause an accident or hitting something. So it's not a good idea. It is absolutely the worst idea that there is, which is texting while driving.
Yeah. I think we, as far as things that people just persist in doing, I think that is probably the most dangerous one. We would occasionally get claims of people who, dropped something on the floorboard, and that's just in that case, just please leave it. Please leave it until you can pull over. If you need it, pull over. But that doesn't happen all that often in our lives. Maybe once a month we drop something, we feel the urge to just grab it. Changing dials on the radio, it normally takes a glance. And again, that's something we don't want to be doing, but it normally just takes a glance. Answering the phone normally just takes a glance. Again, so much can change. But texting, if you haven't run across the studies of how much distance, whether you're driving like Dr. Strange or not, how much distance you cover in a single second on the road, how much things can change in just that single second. It's astonishing. And we do need to remember that we are driving very, very massively heavy machines that are going at extremely high rates of speed. And if we hit anything with that machine, something's going to be damaged or someone's going to be hurt. And so if I can gather some of those stats or some resources for you, I'll dump them in the comments below. Because this is something that is very important, and I think that we should take it very, very seriously.
I agree. The texting part and the not paying attention. I get frustrated. I don't know if you've ever done this with your wife, but if I'm really excited about a movie and I'll play a movie trailer on the television, I'll say, babe, you got to watch this movie trailer. It's great. And I put it on, and movie trailers, minute and a half, maybe. And she'll get a text and start texting and then look up. And I'm like, you missed so much of the part that I wanted you to see. And she goes, no, I just sent a text real quick. No, but you missed so much. So, and
then at the end, she was like, wait, I don't understand. Who's that? Right?
That didn't make any sense. Who was this guy? It was in the beginning. But people always think that, no, I am paying attention, because when they look up, nothing went on, and they think they didn't miss anything. But a kid running across the street, a pothole, which will jerk the wheel. There's just, it's endless, and it's something that you won't realize is a problem, unfortunately, until it happens to you. And when it does, it's not good, because it's either you, a family member, somebody you love, and you don't want to have this conversation then.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and we are hoping to do this a bit more often in the future, and maybe that can be an excuse for us to actually see some movies when they come out.
That's right. I think it's a good idea.
So maybe, I don't know what's coming out this weekend, but you tell your wife, oh, I gotta go work. Yeah, I gotta go see this movie. It's for work. Paul's
That's
making
right.
me.
No chick flicks, because there are no car chases or no car accidents.
Yeah, no, we're not going to. I say no chick flicks, but we already did Fried Green Tomatoes. It's kind of.
Never mind.